This is the Padres Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Diego Padres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let me take a deep breath, Padre fan. Let me take a deep breath. Tough one today. You lose 3-1 to the Brewers. You don't get the sweep. You win the series 2-1, but you can forget about the division and you can pretty much almost forget about home field in the wild card. Now, so many reasons why. We're going to talk about them today, and there are a lot of them in a 3-1 game with near misses, with home run robberies, with great defensive plays, with two-out rallies. The Brewers scored all of their runs with 2 outs, with Dylan Cease under the microscope and his position in the postseason rotation possibly in jeopardy. So many things to unpack in this game. This is your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media, live after every game on YouTube. Then we upload, you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and you down with OTT. Yeah, you know me on Roku. And just a tough one today for the Pods. They fall 3-1 at Petco. They could have, and the Cubs and Mets and Dodgers and everybody play tonight, but the Padres needed this game, and their manager did everything he could to lose it for them. I waited 90 seconds to stay it. This is your Padres Postcast. We are going to unpack it now. Brewers 1, Mike Shildt 0 today, as far as I'm concerned. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Padres Postcast, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let's roll.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Yeah, it is what I'm talking about. And unfortunately, man, Jackson Chourio robbed Xander Bogaerts of a 3-run homer in the first inning, and it just would be that kind of a day for the Padres. Side note on Bogaerts, ripped the ball 3 times today. Played like Ozzie Smith at shortstop, and he was incredible today. Xander Bogaerts really encouraging. Some other things that weren't like Manny Machado striking out 4 times, but man, Chourio robs Xander Bogaerts of a 3-run homer. It's a bases-loaded threat in the 7th inning. Luis Arraez flies out to end it. He got a single and extended his hitting streak to 13 games today. But in that 7th inning, Mike Shildt ejected, arguing balls and strikes. Freddie Fermin, the catcher, ejected, arguing a called 3rd strike. You lose your catcher and your manager on one pitch. They both need to know better. Freddie Fermin, maybe a little bit more of an excuse, but you're however old Mike Shildt is, you know what I mean? 30 years older. Dude, he needs to know better. You cannot get thrown out of that game. You lose your catcher and your manager in one shot after you don't score in a bases-loaded rally. And after you've already been robbed of a 3-run homer. Long day for the Padres. It was one of those days. That's what happened all day long. Things like that. Driving you nuts, driving you crazy. And Mike Shildt's moves late in the game cost him. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. It's funny how just the regular rundowns and they give you the game recaps, they never talk about these things. But Brice Turang, 3 hits, singled in Chourio, go-ahead run, 2 outs in the 7th inning off Adrian Morejon, and Danny Jansen, an insurance run homer in the 9th off Jeremiah Estrada. 12th home run allowed of the season for Jeremiah Estrada. Oh, who pitched the 8th inning? Kyle Heart Attack. And then Mike Shildt has the nerve in the post-game press conference to say, we went all in today. All in? Late, all in. You have Mason Miller and Robert Suarez with a day's rest. You don't pitch either one of them, and you're telling me you went all in? Are you kidding me? I don't know Mike Shildt. I've met him over the years covering the sport. I've talked to him a few times, I'm sure. But man, I'd love to talk to him right now, bro, sis, whoever you are. I'd love to talk to him. I'd love to know why. And you have to give Morejon a pass. 3 hits, an earned run in the 7th. Going through the tough part of that lineup that was just real good today. Top team in the National League. Hello. And he's been so good all year long. You're like, hey, Morejon, you're entitled to a bad one once in a while. And today was a bad one for him. Gives up a hit, gets a double play, 2 outs, nobody on, ends up giving up the run. And it wasn't a homer either. In the 9th inning, it was when Jeremiah Estrada's on the mound. Have I not said enough? They need to watch this show. Have I not said enough about Estrada in late innings lately? I don't understand. I do not get it. What does he have this thing with Jeremiah Estrada for? So to say you went all in, and look, you were down 2-1 when you brought in Estrada. Okay, you were down 2-1 when you brought in Kyle Hart. So maybe you're thinking it's going to be a long game. You don't want to burn Miller and Suarez. And I don't play to lose. I don't play safe, man. I don't play to possibly have it work out later. I go all in now. And I cannot understand a manager who doesn't. And to make matters worse today, look, they go Morejon, they go Hart, and Hart pitched a 1-2-3 inning. To his credit, still should never have been in there. I don't care if he pitched 7 1-2-3 innings in a row. That was not the move to make there. And sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But Hart and Estrada in a 2-1 game back-to-back. When you have Miller and you have Suarez, what are you doing? And yeah, they missed Jason Adam, but what are you doing, man? You got the day off tomorrow, Shilty. You got the day off, bro. To say you went all in is an insult to all the fans who paid their money, to all the fans who watch, who listen. It's an insult. It is an insult. And to add injury to that insult, Ramon Laureano, broken finger, going to miss probably the whole playoffs, at least the first round. Diamondback series, he didn't even get hit with a ball in the finger. He swung and fouled the ball off, and the finger broke. And it's not a hairline fracture either. Tatis was out again today. Laureano was playing right. They had to bring in Brice Johnson. And Shilty actually said with a straight face in the post-game press conference about left field that it should be Sheets. But Brice Johnson's been playing well. What about Ryan O'Hearn? He doesn't like Ryan O'Hearn. I don't understand this dude. He had 2 hits today, O'Hearn. Laureano out with a broken finger. Morejon, you give him a pass. But 7, 8, 9 is Morejon, Miller, Suarez. And I know the home run that made it 2-1 changes things. Look, because you end up with it's 1-1, right? It's 1-1. Dylan Cease gives up a 2-out run. Every Brewers run scored with 2 outs today, and every single one, they scored 1 in each of the 3 innings that they scored. Every single time there were 2 outs and nobody on, whether it was Dylan Cease, Adrian Morejon, or Jeremiah Estrada. And I'm sorry to be picking on Estrada, man, and Kyle Hart. It's not what I mean to do. It's just ridiculous that this happened this way. And you end up with Miller and Suarez on the bench while they score 2 unanswered runs and beat you. You had a chance for a sweep against the best team in the National League. You had a chance to stay and really keep that heat. Look, you're talking about moving into a position with the division race and the wild card where you are literally right there, man. Estrada can't pitch in late innings. I could point to 3 games right now that he blew using Estrada. Today doesn't necessarily count as a game that he blew, but how about the Dodger game? I said it then, I'll say it now. I've been on him all season about it. It's not like I'm a Johnny, or in my case, a Jimmy come lately. You know what I'm saying? But you're 2 games behind the Dodgers now. You had a chance to push it to 1 and maybe tie them tonight. They're playing the Diamondbacks, who are coming in to play you. You had to win this game. It's 1-1 late. You have the better bullpen. What are you doing? Not using it. Why? Why? Mike Shildt, why? I just don't get it. I do not get it. I'm gonna harp on this. There's no doubt. This is a huge game. It's gonna end up costing them. The Cubs play the Mets tonight. You're 2 games behind the Cubs, 2 games behind the Dodgers. You have the tiebreaker against the Cubs. Winning this game today, you would have been right there putting the heat on them, a game back each. You had to win this game. You have the best bullpen in baseball, and you didn't use it. You didn't use it in a game that determines everything. What are you doing? The more I talk about this, the more pissed off I get. Am I the only one? Hit me up in the comments. Talk to me, please. Somebody give me some therapy. Give me something. Give me a lobotomy. You know, I just don't understand. And how about Manny Machado? All that champagne this week. He's the Manny Sombrero today. Struck out 4 times. It happens. Even to he played great defense. Even to a great player like him. I'm concerned about Fernando. Didn't see him this weekend. Really concerned about Manny. Merrill's consistent. Really upset and concerned about the loss of Ramon Laureano. So Fernando, Manny, and Laureano, 3 of the biggest bats and most important pieces in this lineup on this team. Big question marks, Riddler costumes for all 3 of them. How quickly we go up and down in this sport. But your manager cannot be doing that. He cannot be getting thrown out of a game in the 7th inning. This important of a game, arguing balls and strikes. He cannot be making moves like that. Again, Kyle Hart, Jeremiah Estrada back-to-back in the 8th and 9th in a 2-1 game. You're down 2-1, not up. But still, no Mason Miller, who's proven many times he can go more than an inning. No Robert Suarez, who's proven many times he can go longer than an inning. And an off day tomorrow. As much as I get on Suarez, he's much better than Estrada. And Morejon, you give him a pass because every once in a while that happens. But still, all 3 runs, they had nobody on base and 2 away, and the Brewers scored all 3 times. This is brutal. This is the type of thing that sends you home early on a season. And I think that, they know that, obviously, and it's just a tough loss. And the players will say that each guy should have done more and whatnot. Each guy will take it on himself. But I put it squarely on the shoulders of Mike Shildt. Now, look, Chourio robbed Bogaerts of a 3-run shot. You had the 7th inning rally where, for me, I thought the ball was low. It lit up in the strike zone. If it were an AI ump, it would have been a strike. But, man, it's the Those two into the 7th inning right there, and then Schulte bringing in Hart and Estrada back-to-back, plus the robbery of the Bogaerts homer. They could have won this game easily. They could have won this game easily, but man, it didn't happen that way. All right, Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease, Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, still to come, the turning point, still to come, the player of the game, and still to come, a look ahead, a little bit of a breakdown of the playoff picture, but you have to use your pieces correctly. I do not like this manager. I do not think he's a championship manager, and I do not think they'll win a championship with him. There, I said it. I don't know him. It's nothing personal, but the moves that I've seen him make all year after Preller gave him an embarrassment of riches at the deadline, I don't see it. And I just don't, and I'm sorry to say that. I'm not sorry to say that. I just don't see it. I'm sorry if it's a personal thing, if people take it the wrong way, myself with Mike Schilt, but come on, man. Come on. Stevie Wonder can see this. You know what I mean? That's terrible. Hart and Estrada back-to-back when you have Miller and Suarez. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Padres Postcast, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Still to come, all those things I mentioned, breaking down the offense, looking ahead to the possible playoff matchup with the Cubs, and much, much more. It's Padres Postcast. Stick around. So I can tell you about some of the great partners we have on this network. And man, I need something. I really do. I need therapy. I need something, and I'll say this right now. What do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla riding a T-Rex? Man, confidence, pure confidence. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Go Long. That's right, Rugiet Go Long. And Rugiet, proud sponsor of ours here on Locked On. Go Long, you could probably figure what it's about. It's not just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence, right? Go Long combines a bunch of things, really, that give you that confidence. It's two doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula. So 2 medications, dual action, so you can get hard and go the distance, right? The effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. That's pretty nice right there. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Yes, you are. Head to Rugiet.com, R-U-G-I-E-T, Rugiet.com, and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet, R-U-G-I-E-T.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use our code so they know we sent you and you get that deal. Today's show is also brought to you by, what time is it? Game Time. Nothing beats catching a baseball game live. Sure, it stings when your manager blows it late by bringing in the wrong pitchers, but the energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it takes all the fun out of it, right? That's why I use Game Time, and I'm a spoiled brat now. Because of it, it gives you the advantage, you, the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price, plus all fees included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I love that I can see my seat view and go panoramic with it right there in the app before I buy. Fees are included, so you know your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout, and I love that it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I bought tickets. So what you gonna do, brother? You're gonna download the Game Time app and sister, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel, baby. We get the action on the action with FanDuel, don't we? We always do. And that's one of the things we love about it so much, because the NFL season in full swing. Did you see Justin Herbert's throw, man, against the Broncos? What a player he has become under Jim Harbaugh. It's unbelievable with the Chargers, right? A lot of Chargers fans still in Friar Nation, right? So the NFL season in full swing, Chargers killing it, and FanDuel is here to make sure you're ready for kickoff every week with a can't miss offer. What's the offer, you ask? Hey, I'm right here to tell you right now. Hey, it's your tomorrow. New customers can bet just $5. $5 to make you holla. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use anywhere on the app, right? And that is something that I love, because FanDuel, it fits however you like to bet. player props, building a same game parlay, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. And that's something that I really enjoy myself. That live action with FanDuel is just second to none, right? And I really enjoy every minute of that. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. And that's something I know a lot of you like to do. It's quick, it's easy, it's the best way to add a little more energy to your Sundays, Mondays, whenever they play. So, are you ready? Are you ready? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet with FanDuel on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. 3-1, the final. The Brewers beat the Padres in the finale. The Padres win. The 4-game win streak is snapped, but they win 2 out of 3 in the series. But they drop a half game and could be a full game depending upon what the Dodgers and Cubs do tonight. And if that's the case, you're toast, man. You're done. You're not getting the number 1 wild card and getting home field against the Cubs, and you're definitely not winning the division. Look, if you had won today, you would be a game behind each of those teams with tonight's game still to be played. Might have been a half game out by the time you have a day off tomorrow and get to sit and watch them play, do some scouting, whatever. And Mike Shildt, you know what I mean? Like, look, Xander Bogaerts gets robbed of a home run in the 3rd inning. No doubt there, right? That's something that you can't – this game would have been a wrap if they were able to do that. And sometimes it just happens, right? Major League Baseball is a funny game like that. And it's just one of those things that you have to take into account, and you win some of those, you lose some of those, right? They won the extra inning game on Monday where everything seemed to go their way. And when I think about what happened today, you know, Dylan Cease all over the place again. Dylan Cease, 8 strikeouts. Dylan Cease, 8 hits allowed. Dylan Cease was in trouble in every inning and pitched his way out of it. But I don't know that he deserves a playoff spot in the rotation, but I don't know who I'd put in ahead of him. I can't just go by what Vasquez. I'm certainly not putting Randy Vasquez out there instead of Dylan Sheets. You got Darvish Friday, Michael King, you know what I mean, and Pivetta. And that might be your playoff rotation. Darvish, King, Pivetta. I don't think Dylan Cease touches the ball against the Cubs. I don't know. I'd have to do more research on this. I'd have to really look into it more and look at the numbers, his numbers against the Cubs and whatnot. But I have not seen, you know, anything from Dylan Cease that makes me believe in a 3-game situation that he should touch the ball. But I also haven't seen anything from Yu Darvish that tells me the same, except in the past when he's been a great playoff pitcher. That's the thing. So, hey, while you're here, smash that subscribe, hit the bell, come on into the chat while we're live on YouTube right after the games. Then after that, we upload, you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and Roku. I'm not down with any OPP or anything tonight. You know what I'm saying? It's OTT. It's over the top television with Roku, but we're free in all those places. Javier Reyes, Locked On Padres podcast. Every day, ups, downs, ins, outs, everything Padres. He'll have a lot to say about Laureano's finger, but you know, you take away, obviously, the 3-run homer from Bogey would have been huge. If he hits it another foot, anything like that. Merrill with a big homer today, but scoring 1 run, just not going to cut it. It was a bullpen day for the Brewers. They threw a bunch of pitchers, and you still couldn't get anything going. You know, you still couldn't get anything going throughout the game. The 7th inning was brutal, which leads me to the turning point of the game.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I'm going to go ahead and go as a turning point. There's a couple of options that we have here, right? A couple of them. And the turning point could be, you know, and it was a scoreless game into the 5th inning when the Brewers got one off Cease. Merrill ties it in the 6th with a homer. And then in the top of the 7th, the Brewers score 1. Morejon with 2 outs gives up, you know, a couple of hits and a run. It's a hit, a stolen base, and a run. Turang scoring Chourio, and Turang scored earlier on a hit by Vaughn. He was in the middle of all of it with 3 hits today, Turang was. But, I mean, the Brewers are a great team. I just have an issue with Mike Shildt, and here's my turning point, okay? I don't have an issue with him personally. I have an issue with him bringing in Kyle Hart, and I have an issue with him bringing in Jeremiah Estrada back-to-back in the 8th and 9th. One worked out, one didn't. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Should have been Miller. Should have been Suarez. Miller an inning in a 3rd or an inning in 2/3. Suarez the same. I don't know if anything's bothering Miller or Suarez, if they need a little extra rest. I don't know any of that. Nobody asked him, of course, in the dang media room. But no, nobody asked the manager why he didn't bring on your 2 amazing closers. You have 2 closers now that Adam's out. You have 2 amazing closers on this team. And you didn't bring either one of them in a 1-run game with the whole entire season just about on the line. The home field against the Cubs is huge, and he just blew that. You're still down 2-1. You didn't score. And that was rough. And then, honorable mention for the turning point is the robbery of the Bogaerts home run in the first inning by Chourio in center field. And then, of course, the seventh. Man, the seventh was an unmitigated disaster. It just was. It was Mears on the mound for Milwaukee. They leave the bases loaded. It was Bogaerts infield single to third base. He hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. That wasn't one of them. O'Hearn singles to right. He had 2 hits today. Oh, yeah, let's leave him on the bench during the playoffs and play Jake Cronenworth. Sure. Okay, yeah, but now that Laureano's out, at least O'Hearn will play, but it shouldn't have had. But Laureano, you're going to really miss him. Anyway, my point being, you should never just play Sheets or O'Hearn just because Laureano's out to play Jake Cronenworth, and that's another thing that drives me nuts about this guy right here. Anyway, so, all right, I'm going to go and just let you know that Fermin struck out looking and a rise fly to center after Cronenworth was intentionally walked because Bogaerts reached on the infield single. O'Hearn gets a hit. Johnson with a sacrifice bunt, and then Cronenworth walks. So there's 1 away. Fermin strikes out. Horrible call on the low third strike on a breaking ball. Maybe it just nicked it at the knees. I don't know. It looked low to me, but it lit up. AI would have called it a strike, and that's what you're getting next year, ball and strike reviews. So then a rise flies to center, hit it pretty hard, but, right at the center fielder Chourio, and that was brutal as well. So all that said, one more thing to get to, and then we're out of here.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Man, there really wasn't a player of the game today for the Padres. I'll go the Brewers. I'll go with Turang. Turang was 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. For San Diego, Merrill hit the homer, right? O'Hearn had 2 hits. Kyle Hart was really good. I'm going Kyle Hart. That's what I'm doing. I'm going Kyle Hart. He never should have been in the game, but he took advantage of the opportunity to the fullest, gave you a scoreless inning on 8 pitches in the 8th and kept it a 2-1 game. That's the kind of day it was when your player and your star of the game is a guy who held you within 1 run with an inning of relief, because that's pretty much what it was today for the Padres. All right, Jim Greasehaber, call me, Grease. Don't forget, we're off tomorrow, but Friday, you got Yu Darvish on the mound. 6:40 start Friday, 5:40 Saturday, 12:10 Sunday. You got the Diamondbacks, right? And the Diamondbacks are very much in it still. So you have right now, I'm gonna give you the right here, the standings in the playoffs right now on the wild card side. Forget about the division. Even if the Dodgers lose tonight and you're still just a game and a half back, you know what I mean? That's not going to be it's not going to matter because the Dodgers have the tiebreaker on you. So you're looking at the Cubs right now, and it's brutal. You are 2 games behind them, and you were a game and a half. Why the half game? Because you're off tomorrow. They're not. So a game and a half, you win today, it cuts down to 1. And if the Cubs lose tonight to the Mets, who are literally fighting for their playoff lives, the Cubs are already in. Different mood there. So that would have really put the pressure, more of it, on the Cubs tonight. Mets probably win tonight anyway. That would have been amazing to be a half game out, and both those teams have the day off tomorrow. You had to win this game. Mike Shildt gets ejected in the 7th, arguing balls and strikes when Fermin strikes out. He got ejected as the catcher, and then you bring in Morejon, and Morejon's not throwing to Fermin. You get Diaz coming cold off the bench, and you know what I mean? Like, that matters. It matters. And Shildt gets ejected too. They need to do better. Tough one for the Padres. A lot of things. I hope you enjoyed the show we talked about today. Don't forget, day in and day out, it's Javier Reyes with your Padres podcast. I'm After the Games with the Postcast. We're both on the same platforms, YouTube, and then, of course, Roku, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And then there's Locked On MLB. Don't forget Locked On MLB on YouTube, Locked On MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB YouTube, I should say, and wherever you get your podcasts. It's every game, every night, local analysis on a national scale until someone holds up the World Series trophy. And Mike Shildt makes it tough for me to pick the Padres. I'm just being real. I'm sorry to keep saying that way. It sounds personal. It's not, but it is ridiculous, and it needs to stop. Thank you so much for being here, Padre fan. Really enjoy having you be a part of my work family, our tribe coming together all year long, and we absolutely love it. Thank you so much for being here. Until tomorrow, actually Friday night, 6:40 first pitch with Yu Darvish on the mound. We will be here right after that game with your Padres postcast. Until then, keep your game tight and your mind right, San Diego. I'm Grease, and I am out.